We have Zero to the Cool. We might have the Bearded Dragon today. Dave might stop by. We'll see. But it's the SMT podcast, and it's a random Wednesday edition, June 15th. At the time of this recording, it is 8:46, and we have three main topics that we'll discuss today. The T-Mobile Next announcement we're expecting very soon, I suppose. I have no idea what to expect there, but we'll throw around some ideas. I did drop the video earlier, and I got a lot of comments and people kind of guessing what it might be. Your guess is good as mine, so we'll get the we'll check the barometer of the people and see what Dennis and Zero Cool have to say. And also, Dish officially launched in 128 cities. That happened like yesterday and today. And you can now place orders if your address qualifies for the service. And they've got two different services that they're selling, two different devices, and we can discuss that. And then also, AT&T is priming us up for another price increase, and I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. I'm not speculating that it may or may not happen. I'm gonna pretty much call this a slam dunk. LeBron James at the rim, boom, it's gonna happen. All right, so those are going to be our main topics. We might stray a little bit. Me and Dennis tend to discuss cable and home ISPs and fiber and other things at from time to time, and it's all good. Whatever topics you guys want to discuss after we cover the main ones, we could do that, and then we'll take some comments and questions from the audience as well. All right, so let's get started with the first one, and let me actually share the. Well, not everybody has Twitter, right? So that's probably something that I can't really share, I suppose, unless you have a Twitter account. Uh, but according to CEO of T-Mobile, Mike Sievert, there is an announcement coming. And literally all he said in the announcement was, buckle up for a T-Mobile what's next thing. I don't even know what the technical term, because it's not like an uncarrier move, right? Like how they do the big thing for it. It just says that there's something coming customers' way. And I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen if it's large enough there. It's just an animation that says like what's next.
What's
And
next? We're selling ourselves out to Comcast, as Zero Cool would say. No, I'm joking. It's probably just some event talking about the price hikes, saying some BS spiel about how we're not going to raise prices, yada yada yada. Maybe they talk about something with let's see, they have emojis there. What was those emojis? Maybe it's a messaging platform thing. Something maybe to do with RCS. I don't know.
No, I hope not. I haven't heard anything about any messaging. I'm getting from the emojis. It looks like there's a lot of smiley faces and a lot of hearts. Everything. It looks like people are going to be happy.
Well, there was chat bubbles in there. You see, like at the top when it goes, see the chat bubbles.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's some type of text to text based support.
Tesla autopilot texting.
Yeah,
I mean, because they said buckle up, so.
Oh,
that's a good keyword. Yeah. I hope it's not a.
Maybe it has to do with like texting while driving and stuff like that. Maybe it's enhancements to that.
you guys think they're giving out pink tricycles on Tuesdays?
That's a possibility.
What's that thing that they have, the sync up? Maybe it has to do with that product. Maybe they're doing like an enhancement or an improvement on the sync up that you plug into your car.
Oh gosh, I bet you. Yeah, I mean the current one now is not doesn't do 5G. So maybe they have one that's 5G enabled now. I don't know.
Do you guys think it's just some kind of like a network announcement, and then they're going to try to do like the whole turn it into some analogy of vehicles and fast and all that? 5G you see X number of pops people covered or whatever, and then so it's just basically an advertisement or commercial.
It's N41 SA, and then they're going to shut down their entire LTE network.
I think it's gonna. I think it's if you're reading what he says, it says big heading the customers' way. What are customers, right? They're wireless customers, right? That's big. That's the majority, or of postpaid customers, right? So I I'm speculating it's going to be they might change something with the postpaid plans. That's what I think.
Yeah, I tried to speculate on what it might be, in today's video. I kind of was hoping that they would do something with that whole like hotspot thing because they're selling a new hotspot. I thought that was their prime opportunity to bring like a more, I don't know, power user based tier of hotspot plan, like a 2 or a 300 gig service. I mean, they could have did that. That would have been nice to go with that hotspot, but they didn't. So I was like, well, I guess they could do that here, but it wouldn't make any sense. And then I thought, well, couldn't they also do something with media? So they got Netflix on us. There's a precedence with Hulu with Sprint. Is it possible that they could have something there? I mean, it would be kind of cool, like if you could choose your streaming platform that would be included with your service. So, for example, they offer you the basic Netflix on us. Well, could they do like the Hulu on us? So you could choose that instead of Netflix, and actually, people were begging for this in the comment section. They want YouTube Premium for free. People were saying, and this is more than some. People were saying they would gladly give up Netflix on us for a premium YouTube subscription.
Dude, 100%
so they could
agree.
go.
I would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they could go like
agree.
advertisement free. Not have to worry about commercials and ads.
Dude,
yeah,
Stetson and I both have had YouTube since it was YouTube Red, so we're grandfathered on the old rate. And I can tell you hands down, Sneed, that YouTube is the most watched platform for me, period.
I think a lot of people agree. I think that would be really nice. I don't what's the value on the single person?
On YouTube Premium, I mean?
Or can it be like up to like a certain number of users on the subscription?
You can do $12, I believe, now for a single user is what it costs, and I think it's like $15 for like a family of 5.
So that's not really priced all that different than Netflix on us, which is what's the basic now? $15?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm grandfathered in at like 9 or something like that with YouTube Red pricing, but I think it's like 12 and 15 now, if I'm not mistaken.
I also threw it out there, like, what if they could just partner up with like for HBO Max? So then you could choose between HBO Max, Netflix on us, or you could do the YouTube Premium. Like you could just pick one, and if you wanted to take your freebie and then add another one and pay for it, get a small discount, maybe like
Sneed, I got an even more simpler and even more intelligent idea. Ready for it? How about T-Mobile just does, say, $10 in value towards any streaming service you want, and if you opt not to have a streaming service included in your package, it's just $10 off your monthly cell phone bill. Boom.
Well, remember, they want to keep the ARPU up, so they're giving you a discount makes no sense.
I mean, they're gonna pay $10 regardless if you have them paying for Netflix or whatever, right?
I don't know. What do they pay for that?
They literally pay at cost. Oh, well, they pay a portion of the cost. I believe for single line users, they throw in $9 towards it, and for multi line accounts, they throw in like $12 towards it, and you pay the difference. And I'm saying if they're gonna just throw in that money anyway, make it so that that's the value for any streaming service. And if you opt not to get one, if you say no streaming service for me, thank you, T-Mobile, you could just give me a $10 discount.
How about if they did an unlimited talk, text, and data plan for $15 at 5 megabits a second?
I mean, is that what people are asking for?
Man, no. I would love the YouTube TV. That would be that'd be good.
Yeah, a discount on YouTube TV. Like kind of what like Dennis was saying, you could take $10 off.
But I don't know, man. I feel like if they were going to do that, they should have done it the last Un-carrier move. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because now they just offer 50% off now, but I don't think. Boy, it would be a stress to make it completely free to customers.
So, Zero Cool, did you mean to say YouTube TV or did you mean to say YouTube Premium?
No, YouTube TV.
Oh, dude, no one wants YouTube TV, bro. We're talking about YouTube Premium, man.
No, well, I don't know. Not having any ads.
Dennis, why do you think nobody wants YouTube TV? Who said that?
Because they can't watch their Minecraft videos with no advertisements.
YouTube Premium and YouTube TV are like the antithesis of polar opposites. One gives you a no ad version of streaming content on demand at your choosing. The other is literally just linear live TV, which no one my age wants to watch.
Is that true?
I don't know. I mean,
I literally kid you not, Sneed. I'm not even joking.
So nobody your age watches live sports?
Bro, dead serious. I literally out of 25 people that I can think of in the top of my head, there is one person that watches live television still, and it's literally just for news and sports.
I think I've consumed about 12 hours, maybe 24 at the absolute most, of linear TV since I was 16 years old, 11 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I still watch linear TV, so it's just I don't
You're
hear
cool. You're
anybody
double
saying
the age.
I don't hear anybody saying, oh, I want, they watch YouTube a lot or have YouTube Premium because they're, they don't like the ads.
Also, EM Tech commented a perfect thing too. He doesn't know a single person his age that actually pays for cable. That
So
one
then how do
person
you
I
watch
was
live sports? I don't understand.
So yeah, that one person I was telling you about doesn't even pay for cable. They watch it from their parents' account. And then for the other people, either they don't care about sports anymore because the pandemic made them lose a lot of fans, or if they want to watch, they'll just go watch it at the bar. They'll literally just go down to the bar and watch it, or they'll watch it illegally, bro.
As far as live sports go, I don't watch sports, but the only game that I will watch in a year is the Super Bowl. Like, that is literally the only game I watch in the entire year.
Yeah, so you sign up for a free trial of YouTube TV for like a week, watch your Super Bowl game, and then cancel.
Tech, you don't do that. You can get it for free like a week before the Super Bowl, you can just do a DuckDuckGo search for like watch the Super Bowl, and it's like gives you these websites where you can watch the darn thing.
Well, that's the illegal way.
They've been hosted on some pretty big sites, like not CNBC, but like some of the bigger ones.
That's the illegal way.
So you're saying like CNN or whoever the heck hosts that is hosting it illegally? Because it's not a small network. It's not like a small thing.
By the way, if I remember correctly, the Super Bowl is on Fox affiliates, so you can use your antenna.
Yeah.
Use the antenna. It's free. It plugs into your TV. Actually, wait, no, it's not free. It's $15 to $20, and it plugs into your TV. And you can watch Super Bowl every year, no problem, with that antenna for that one payment.
On a side note, but CNN definitely doesn't host the Super Bowl, right? I'm not losing my freaking mind.
No, CNN does not host the Super Bowl.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't Verizon the sponsor of the Super Bowl and not AT&T?
Yeah. Verizon has the partnership with the NFL. Yeah.
Verizon has the NFL, T-Mobile has baseball, and I think AT&T has hockey.
I would have
AT&T has NBA and NCAA.
No polo?
Not
that I follow, so I couldn't comment or speculate.
Who has UFC? Wait, who has UFC? Would that be T-Mobile again?
Boost.
It used to be Metro. I don't know if they're still. I think maybe Cricket now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Alternate reality is right. The NBA finals are on ABC, so you can get those with your antenna too. Running Flame does have a point. If those $15 antennas only work if you're in a market close enough. Otherwise, you're looking at like a $100, $200 for a roof antenna. But, that's still like 3 months of cable.
So that's like 1 month of cable.
I live in a medium-sized market, and I can still get like 15, 20 channels on just antenna.
I get 35, and some of them are foreign language, and I understand the language, and it's rather nice.
I get like 6 channels on antenna.
Wait, You're in the Pittsburgh market. How the hell do you only have 6?
Yeah, it should get more than that.
Should have like,
It sounds like you have either a crappy antenna or or like you're putting it indoors and it's trying to go through all the walls in your building.
and you're pointing in the opposite direction.
I don't know. It was one of those cheaper ones I got off Amazon. I tried giving it to my mom at her place, and she's kind of rural, like I said, and it wasn't great. She was actually picking up more Ohio channels, ironically enough, Sneed. And then I brought it back to my house, and it didn't work that well. So
I got a cheap ass $25 flat indoor antenna on Amazon. I get like 36 channels.
Where do you place it, Pete?
I point it outside the window behind my TV, which is in the null zone between 2 markets. So, anywho, Dish hit, Dish hit 20% of the population. What is that, like 125 cities?
Pete, me and you did the math on this earlier today.
Yeah, I sat down. I'm like, okay, I went to the Census Bureau, went through the top 100 cities, and the top 100 cities are
here's the math
1.5 million below 20% of the U.S. population. So we're doing PEAs in the FCC.
So Pete, here's how we kind of did this, right? 330 some million people in the U.S.
336.
Okay, and then so if it's 20%, that's 20, 40, 60, 65-ish million people.
That is 65 million, yes.
Okay, so how do you get 65 million people? According to Dish, you pick 128 unique markets, and you get there. And that's what they did.
Some of the markets only have 2 antennas on N71. And I looked at Sasha Segan's article in PC Mag referring to this, and I'm like, man, I remember when T-Mobile launched N71 saying they were all in on 5G. So they had more towers set up.
There's an important piece of this. The 20% coverage was relative to just, certain frequency bands, right? So like it was they're 600 megahertz, 600, right? And then they're AWS, right? So they had to get there, and that's the hard part, right? Like getting AWS, because it's a mid-band frequency to a brand new company, that they had to densify a little bit in some of these places and really cover those pops. The tower sites that I find from them, sometimes they're at the very tippy top, sometimes they're a little bit lower because the carriers already exist on the top part of the monopole, and I found them on some rooftop sites and all of that. But according to their math, and they did not request an extension, they did not indicate that they weren't going to hit the mark, and they apparently did. So here we are. You guys can go to genesis5g.com. You can put in your address if you're in one of those 128 markets, and you can sign up for the service. The phone plan is $30 per month. Truly unlimited experience, unlimited calling, unlimited texting, unlimited data, no throttling, no speed caps, no video resolution restriction, no tethering restriction. It's all unlimited all the way. And then they have a $20 per month hotspot plan, truly unlimited, the whole shebang. The Netgear Nighthawk device is $350, and they ship it in like a few days. And I think the phone that they're selling for the Project Genesis is the Samsung Galaxy S22.
Oh, I thought they were doing a Motorola phone.
No, man, it's an S22, and they're selling it for like $400, I think.
Can you just bring over your own S22, or do you have to buy theirs?
No, it's gotta be theirs. Gotta buy theirs, unfortunately.
That's so dumb. That's dumb.
The thing is, for sure, there's a firmware that's on that device that is going to be like completely for like, voice over NR, SA, that whole thing.
I believe you, but the simple fix to this would just be when phone sees Dish SIM, populate with software/firmware update to phone.
Yeah, but that's on Samsung. That's not Dish's fault.
Well, if the firmware exists, if it exists, it means Samsung developed it, which means that Dish has a server somewhere pushing out that firmware update for their devices.
I'm telling you, Dennis, that's not Dish's doing. That's on Samsung for it to be able to do that because
Yep.
they originally did it on the previous generations of the S10 and the S20. I had both of those phones, and whenever I put in a unique SIM, it would automatically turn off the phone and it would reboot with the carrier firmware.
Right.
Sounds obnoxious. By the way, shoutouts to Green9227 with a $2 super chat saying hello, everyone. Hello,
Hey, Green. Thanks for
Green.
the super chat.
I think inserting a new SIM and the phone rebooting sounds freaking obnoxious.
I don't think it's a terrible thing.
And what the heck is Dish doing with some of their markets they chose? I emailed Sneed about this earlier.
Yeah. What was the name of that city, Dave? Valvita?
Yeah, Valdosta. Valdosta, Georgia. No, this is not cheese.
Wait,
It's
Velveeta
called-
is cheese? I thought it was some type of dairy like goo.
Yeah, Valdosta, Georgia, population 55,700, and they've launched that as the only city in Georgia to have it instead of like Macon or Atlanta or Savannah or like tons of cities that are way bigger. And
That's
they
not
launched
even a
that one.
college. That's not even a college town.
It's like, wait, what? Why? Why would you do that?
I heard Charlie's got a girl out there. That's what I hear.
Piece of side candy.
Right,
I
exactly.
mean, how about the fact that Dish opted to launch in a market that wasn't in Pennsylvania, that wasn't either Pittsburgh or Philly, instead they chose some random town in the middle of the state.
What'd they pick? Allentown?
No, they picked like St. Clair or something.
What?
Yeah, see, they're choosing
St.
random
Clair
stuff.
is more random than Allen. By the way, Sneed, we got a $10 super chat from Austin's Tech. Says, once they support iPhones, I will test drive the service, especially now. You can do 5G SA. I'm assuming he means easily by enabling it within the cellular settings on the iPhone. This is going to be a challenge for my challenge.
Real talk. Pete, real talk. He's totally right about this.
Yep.
He's totally right. Like if it doesn't support the if the service isn't supported on the iPhone,
nobody's going to get it.
What's the percentage of users on an iPhone in the US right now?
50, about 50.
About 50.
Yeah, how you gonna only offer one Android device, two Android devices, right? And by the way, guys, I give them total props for what they're selling it for. They're selling it for $400. That phone is what, $899 brand new?
Yep.
So they're taking a hit on the phone just to give you a service for $30 a month. It's a good deal.
That's a good deal. Sneed, you know how I feel about locked phones.
Let's see how long that lasts.
I don't know about the locking policy. I don't know any of that. That would be purely speculation. I'm just saying that until they get the iPhone going, this is going to be half of the consumer base is eligible to use it, right? Because anybody who's only rolling with the iPhone is out of the running. Not only that, you're now sticking to one specific phone. They got to go BYOD, and they have to go iPhone.
Yeah.
Until that day, they are literally in beta.
Right.
Until that day, they literally, because here's the thing, Steve, what was the market share on Samsung? 20% in the US?
It's pretty high.
It's like 30. It's like the go-to brand for Android devices.
So 30% of US customers that live in your footprint could potentially be your customer. That's Dish's potential client base. 30%.
That's a very small number.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind rocking Dish as an eSIM on my Pixel 6 Pro. Still not available in Longmont. So
I still want to try it though. Like I'm still so down to clown with trying out Dish's plan. I'm especially curious to see how their implementation of a home internet solution works out, considering that they're not making you use some like proprietary gateway. They're just using a Nighthawk. So I'm down to see what that looks like as well.
Now that I would be interested in. I don't think I'd be interested in Dish for mobile service, but if they would allow me to put my SIM into a whatever gateway, then I could lock bands on and stuff like that, then totally.
Hold on. Big shout out to Austin's Tech. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. But real quick, Dave, they're the only true standalone 5G network. Why wouldn't you want to try that on a mobile network experience?
because I don't think I don't have a 5G phone capable of doing VoNR, so I would literally have no voice.
You would
So-
literally be forced to buy a phone through them.
Yeah.
Speed.
Yeah.
We got another super chat from Austin's Tech at $5 saying, "My mom has been dead set on Android phones for the past 10 years. She's moving to an iPhone at the end of July." Well, Austin's, hope the interface doesn't piss her off like it does me.
Yeah, and Dennis is right. I don't buy carrier-branded phones, carrier-locked phones. If it's got something to do with a carrier, I want nothing to do with it. I only buy unlocked phones from the OEM.
No,
So I
what
have
I'm
to wait
saying
until-
is that if you were going to use Dish anyway, you have to buy a phone through them right now as it stands. So like, you
Yeah.
not having a phone that supports it's like a non-issue because you were going to have to buy a phone anyway.
So I wouldn't be one of their target customers anyway. I'm not even in a market that they support, but I would not. The fact that they would require me to buy a phone through them is a non-starter because I will not buy carrier phones at
But
all.
more specifically, Dave, I was talking about the Nighthawk here, the home internet solution.
Well, it's not really technically a home internet solution. It's a Nighthawk, so it's like it's still technically a mobile
internet solution,
hotspot.
yeah.
But I will tell you what's going to stop somebody from being like what Dennis is thinking. I take this Nighthawk, I connect it to my ASUS, I connect it to an external router, and I go ahead and push a couple of teras per month on this. I mean, that's gonna happen, no
I can
doubt.
see it
Literally,
happening, yeah.
yeah. Like we're gonna be seeing posts on Reddit. Oh, I just used 95 terabytes on Dish today.
Bro, it's going to be a peen measuring contest, bro. It's going to be like, yo, you only use
Oh,
60
yo,
teras.
that
I
is-
used 100.
That is the same dude who used 99 terabytes on T-Mobile Home Internet is gonna be doing it on Dish, guaranteed.
You
bro.
know,
Bro,
I
it's literally going to be
have-
like, you only used 99. I used a petabyte. What are you going to do?
I have symmetrical gig fiber to the home, and I don't use like 60 tera a month, and everything I watch and consumes online.
I mean,
By
I
the
had
way-
a short little spurt where I was doing 30 and 70, but now that my usage has fallen more down to earth, it's higher than it was, but I'm averaging closer to 6 terabytes.
Hey guys, by the way, Carlos is in the live chat and he's dropping gems on us right now. He said no bit torrenting. That'll get you terminated.
Yeah, you got to be on Nextlight for that.
Yeah. He said also the SIMs are going to be locked to the devices that they're activated on. So you
That
won't be able to
sucks.
move. Yeah, you won't be able to move the SIM from the Nighthawk to something else. or
May
from
as
the
well
phone
be
to
an
somewhere else.
eSIM.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie's really adamant about locked phones.
Oh, by the
been
way,
since
the
first.
S22 is coming with an eSIM, Pete.
Good, but yeah, locking SIMs to the phone is, in my opinion, BS.
What is this? 2013 Sprint?
This literally
man.
goes
What
against
is this?
everything.
2008 Verizon, where I have to call them and say I'm transferring phone,
This
and then they
I'm
literally-
moving
hang
my
up on
thing from my
me.
BlackBerry to my iPhone.
This literally goes against everything the GSM based standard stands for. It's
Yeah,
like so
yeah.
freaking anti-consumer and so stupid.
That's why I won't use Metro, because they do that exact same thing where you have to like call in to change your SIM from
you
one
don't.
phone to another. Yes, you do. Or at least the last time I heard you did.
I have to do that with T-Mobile, but that's by choice, not
Isn't that a
by
security thing?
yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, Metro forces you to do that. You have to call in to change your SIM between devices. Like if you get a new phone, put your SIM into it, you got to call 611
I
and actually
mean,
tell them the IMEI of your new phone.
if I take my T-Mobile SIM out of my Pixel 6 Pro and put it into a 7 Pro, I don't have to call. It's my SIM. But if I want to move eSIM or activate a new SIM or what have you, yeah, I call.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like a physical SIM. Like I can take my T-Mobile SIM out of one phone, put it in another phone, and then make a call and it works fine, or use data and it works fine. With Metro, from what I understand, you have to call into 611 after making the switch and then tell them the IMEI, just like if you were on Sprint or old Verizon.
And you know, I'm perfectly fine with the level of SIM security where I have to physically remove, where I can physically remove the SIM and put it into a new phone, because I control my air gap.
You guys ready for this next story?
Yeah.
This one sucks.
Well, hold on. Wait, before we move on to the next story, I think there's a little bit of confusion that needs to be cleared up. Jerome Miller said, but AT&T currently still locks devices to their network. Well, we're not talking about device locks because of financing. We're talking about SIM locking. Totally different thing. Like, literally, if you take the SIM out and try to put it in another phone, it's just not going to work. Because it's tied to the IMEI of the device.
Yeah, but is it going to brick the SIM and then you're just out of luck and then they're going to can you and ban you from the service? Or is it just not going to work and then you put it back in and it works?
I'd assume it's the latter of what you said. I'd hope. If they do the former, I would very much question Dish's life expectancy considering the market that we live in today.
Hey, I'm willing to buy up a Project Genesis line when it becomes available in my market. So, but again, I'd prefer having it on eSIM next to the Los Blue on my Pixel 6 Pro.
Right. I think a Google phone makes sense for them anyways. Like whatever this next, what would it be, the 6A? I would highly recommend Dish set up something with Google for a supply and a firmware that works, where it's kind of like universal SIM. It's all, you put the SIM or you activate eSIM, and then all of a sudden all the frequencies are enabled and you're doing voice over NR and that whole thing.
Dish could give the 6A for $200.
On the 6A and the 7 and the 7 Pro, give me the ability to go in, say, add an eSIM, download the Dish, set up autopay. Bada bing.
There you go. Bada bing.
Carlos answered the question for you, Sneed. He said it will suspend the line and then they will give you one chance. Then after that, you're done for now until BYOD is certified.
It sounds like a Charlie thing to me.
Listen, if you guys do that, he's not going to fix your washers. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, be good.
What about my Hopper? It says I'm full and I can't attach 4 hard drives. Fix my Hopper.
Yep, you need to get your Hopper fixed, bro. All right, let's do this next story. This one sucks. Hate to report it, but it's coming. A second price increase is coming to AT&T. If you are an AT&T customer, chances are you're going to feel this one. The first initial price increase went to old legacy plans that were like, they had like fixed amounts of data. I don't know. I forget the 2 or 3.
The mobile value share plans.
That's what it was. And it was like single line $6, multi-line $12. And those people felt it first. And it was pretty much just a play to get people to the newer plans. And it probably worked for some people because they're probably like, well, what's the point of me keeping this if these other plans are going to be priced the same and I'm getting less? So they probably made that switch, a lot of people. And this next price increase is probably not going to impact just those types of people, which from what I understand, the price increase before that $6 and $12 only impacted just under 1/3 of the customer base.
That's still a lot of customers. That's
but Pete, that's not going to get the job done if they're looking to increase their margins. Like they said, they need to hit everybody.
And I'm going to say that, this is bad because they're outright telling you they're upping your price. They're not arbitrarily charging your property tax on your bill without warning. Or changing your night and weekends times or, things like that. They're going out and saying, yes, this is going to be a flat increase.
It's neat. I bet you miss Randall now, don't you?
I feel like this is the ghost of Randall striking again.
Yes. Can I just say real quick, Dux, I'm reading the comments. I just want to shut it down real fast. These price increases that the carrier is doing, like people saying like elections have consequences of inflation. These price increases that the carrier is doing, literally zero to do with the actual quote unquote inflation.
Nope.
Has 100% more to do with the fact that they're spending a butt ton of money on 5G, and 5G isn't the thing that they thought they can monetize. So now they're trying to make up for that investment in other ways.
Hey, 5G is still in the oven. We're still not done with Rail 15, which came out 4 years ago.
19 or something.
Yeah, so it's still bacon. So if you want to jump on and monetize it, you gotta wait till it's out of the oven.
Yeah, but you know that's not how the carriers work. If you remember when LT first came out back in the day, dude, the carriers were monetizing that like crazy. If you remember,
Oh yeah.
so this is literally because they were expecting 5G to raise their ARPU. That didn't happen. So now they're taking it out in other ways with BS fees. And honestly, their profit margins are so sickeningly high from a percentage base that this really disgusts me, especially considering that AT&T already Sneed raised their profit margins by roughly $15 just by removing HBO Max from their most premium plan. Every customer that takes advantage of that new plan.
Nah. So the math there is going to be a little bit. It's not that simple, from what
It's
I
not
understand.
$15, by the way. They were
They were owning
playing
it,
with house money.
right? They owned it, and then the other piece of that, Dennis, is I think 60% of users actually used it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they were paying for it regardless if you used it or not. So by
Yep.
them,
No,
No.
when AT&T's the owner, they're no longer the owner. Now they have to pay.
So when AT&T was the owner, having HBO Max included on every Elite plan or Max or Turbo or whatever the hell,
Nice.
um, what they were doing is they were padding the user numbers so they could have a higher stock evaluation under the media group or in general due to the success and the penetration of it. So they were making money not from selling it or people paying a subscription. They were making money because they were able to get a higher stock value.
I think Barry kind of says it best here. It's viewed as an expense at this point, and they looked at it. They're like, hey,
Yep.
more than 1/3 of people aren't using it. This is probably going to hurt us too much.
I,
But you see what they did is they added tethering data, which like nobody was asking for. Like nobody's like, oh man, I wish I could have 10 more gigs of hotspot data. Like 40 is not enough. Like it was totally just a reach.
Hey, I'm still thinking T-Mobile Business Ultimate is a good value add due to the additional tethering data, but I'm a very, very small subset of the user base.
and Pete, if the HBO Max was supposed to help AT&T's stock price, then you clearly haven't checked the AT&T stock price in a while
Yeah, I did.
because it's terrible.
I know it fell when my AT&T holdings have gone down in
It's
value.
doing terribly. Like, oh my lord.
also, I just want to say something that should be really, really obvious by now, by the way, but this cycle of raising prices is really stupid because every time they raise prices, it increases churn ever so slightly. Even if it's the smallest percentage, it's ever so slightly.
Yeah, but Dennis, like the way they're looking at it is the switcher pool during like the pandemic or whatever. I don't know whatever you want to call like the last 3 years. Like AT&T took their share. Like something fierce. Like they were the most growth centric carrier for the last 2-3 years, even more so than T-Mobile, which was unusual.
I think AT&T needs a Magenta Max play. They need something that just unlimited everything. Unlimited hotspot everything. It's just they need that.
Yeah, but Sneed, so I want to touch on your switcher pool thing. I'm going to use a very simple analogy here for what I'm trying to go for with this. Let's just say you had 10 potential customers, right? And every time you raise prices, you lose one. Okay? So you do it the first time. Your profits are overall up. Even though you lost the guy, you're still winning, right? You do it again. Now you have 8 customers. Your profits are still up, but now they're more disgruntled, more looking. And I mean, you're still up, but you lost a customer. Once you get to the point where, like, let's just say you're five customers deep, so now you only have 5 left. That's the point where, like, literally you're back to like breaking even as if you would have had 10 customers again. Like, the revenue can increase. It will increase for a short time, but you can only do this so many times. And honestly, if T-Mobile just does nothing like they said they will, they'll take all your customers. They'll take you. They'll take a big amount of them because AT&T was already roughly about $10 to $15 more expensive than T-Mobile because of all the BS fees. Verizon was like $20 more expensive with their most premium plan with all the BS fees. And now we're talking about pushing into territories that have been unheard of since like 2008 as far as like unlimited pricing goes for single lines and 2 lines.
Well, as long as T-Mobile continues to exist without raising prices, then both Verizon and AT&T look terrible. You get what I'm saying? Like, if one carrier is able to do it and go without prices like skyrocketing, well, then how do the other two justify doing it? Like, is T-Mobile that reserved to the fact that they don't need to raise prices, or are they literally just watching AT&T and Verizon self mutilate each other? Like, I'm looking at AT&T. Like, Verizon already did 2 price increases. They did the $2 additional like economic adjustment fee, that administrative fee, and then they did the the plan. They added charge to the plan or whatever. They had that list of plans I covered 2 weeks ago, right? So they did 2, and then AT&T is now going to do 2. Meanwhile, T-Mobile's like sitting there. They're like, okay, you dumbasses, you guys can go ahead and do this and make yourselves the enemy of the state. We're going to just launch this whatever thing called price lock. And regardless of what we do with our, surcharge on our activations, like, we're not raising the plans and we're not adding administrative fees. Like,
By the way, there are ways around going to the store and getting the activation surcharge.
I was going to say you can avoid that activation
Sure.
that charge.
Right,
With
well,
AT&T and Verizon, you can't
saying-
avoid them.
what I'm saying is T-Mobile's got like they've done it in a way where it's not going to impact all the customers. Like, literally, AT&T is going to do this, and it's going to hit every customer. And like Verizon, it's impacted a ton of customers.
Someone called my name.
And Dave's in my boat. We buy from the OEM, so we don't get activation fees as long as we don't need a new SIM.
Well, when I buy a new SIM, I buy it from eBay.
When I get a new SIM, I call them up in the UPS and I call them up and activate it, and they don't charge me. So
when I buy a new SIM, I go to ebay.com, I buy a SIM, and when I get the SIM in the mail, I do the instructions on the thing and activate it all online.
Yeah.
I can definitely see Dish doing this, raising prices.
$30 a line and
$120 in taxes.
Velveeta,
yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Right, yeah.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this: the only thing that's gonna save AT&T's bony butt is the fact that they literally have a straight up monopoly in coverage in certain markets. That's the only reason that I feel like they even feel like they can do what they're doing. Go ahead.
I like this thing about the customer base freaking out, David. I actually agreed with you up until about 2 weeks ago, and then I talked to Roger, from Recon Analytics, and he told me, literally, according to the data, the most cost sensitive customers are on AT&T.
You mean the most cost sensitive are on T-Mobile? You mean?
No, the most cost sensitive customers are on AT&T. Would you like me to repeat it?
How does that make sense?
Would you guys like me to repeat it? You guys are like shocked.
Now, we heard you. We're
just
not sure if
I'm not. You shared that with me when we had lunch.
The least cost sensitive consumer base is Verizon.
Yep.
The most cost sensitive consumer base is AT&T. Most customers on T-Mobile are reserved to the fact that they hate Verizon and AT&T, and they don't care.
That's my boat.
Yep.
And
I'm actually surprised.
And also the Sprint customer that is still on T-Mobile today is satisfied. The Sprint customer who left T-Mobile yesterday is on AT&T.
That's true.
That's true.
So my next door neighbor did some work with Sprint when they were still Sprint. Hates Verizon and AT&T. And his comment was when his carrier notification changed over to T-Mobile was better than those other two assholes.
I don't hate Verizon. I will fully admit that I absolutely despise AT&T and would love to see them burn in the ninth pit of where, Dante's Inferno. Like, I hate AT&T. Verizon,
Wait.
I have no problem with, actually. Just the price is a little higher than I'd like to pay.
Wasn't AT&T already destined to go there with the Moneylanders and Judas? Hey, Philip Brooks chimes in with a $5 super chat, Sneed. Says, honestly, if you think about it, rural customers might get hit by these price hikes the worst due to the lack of competition.
It's true. Good point. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate the super chat.
If it's a monopoly or a duopoly with competing price hikes, those people in those markets are going to feel it.
Rural always gets hit the hardest, but I want to address the comment that David had coming in because it's a good one. He asked, "But why do you hate them?" And then he answers, "It's the price. If they feel like T-Mobile's turning on them with raising prices, they may reconsider." I agree with David's comment. Most people that say they hate AT&T is because of pricing issues and not necessarily a service issue.
Okay, so I got to ask this then. Literally, T-Mobile has structured their upgrades to where if you do not have Magenta MAX, you are getting half a deal. Why aren't customers leaving?
I don't enterprise on them.
I'll wait.
Why aren't they leaving, you ask, Sneed?
They like T-Mobile Tuesdays.
Because they got like 8 free lines, and even with the half a deal, it's still cheaper than AT&T.
I don't take their offers.
Free lines aren't going anywhere.
No.
You get to keep those suckers for life, man.
They're also, if I remember correctly, isn't a majority of their customers still grandfathered in the OG One Plus plan for like $70?
I think at least 40% of their customers are still on T-Mobile One.
So $70 versus 85 with tax, like $100. Now ask the question again: why aren't they leaving? Because even with the half deal and a new phone, it's still cheaper than what AT&T charges. So it comes back to price.
AT&T's got discounts though. Like, dude, everybody qualifies for AARP on AT&T.
Well, and that's their target demographic.
And then they have the home internet bundle, where if you got both, they'll give you 25% off your wireless.
Okay, boomer.
Yep.
And David says it's all about the magenta thongs, apparently.
That's the next carrier move.
Also, on the topic of hatred, I hate Verizon, but I don't want them to go in a spirally pit in Dante's Inferno, because the last thing I want is for a duopoly between AT&T and T-Mobile.
So,
oh, come on, like that? Seriously?
Oh, come on! There'd be a trifecta between T-Mobile, Verizon, and Dish.
Sneed.
T-Mobile, AT&T, and Dish. Excuse me, or whatever.
Sneed, we all know why most of their customers qualify for AARP discounts. They voted for Reagan.
Hey, Pete, who was the first president you voted for?
Were
you old enough to vote for George W.?
I voted for John Kerry because I liked his initial plan to run with John McCain.
So it was that election, right?
Yep, and I'm all for Veterans for Peace.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you were right around the same time as me. We were old enough to vote for that election.
I think my first election would be the Hillary one, the Hillary Trump one.
Man, you're young.
Yeah, you're a young buck, young whippersnapper.
Yeah, I wouldn't be old
Get
enough.
Off my lawn.
Because I wouldn't be old enough for Obama's second term.
Yeah, get off my lawn, Dennis.
Yeah, I think I would have. I think mine would have been. Oh God, I actually don't know. I don't know. I might have been old enough for the second Obama one, but I can't remember right offhand. I'd have to calculate my age and figure out what I was.
I had to figure it out because honestly, that election wasn't even that memorable to me because it was like trying to pick between a freaking potato and an apple.
So about these price hikes.
Yeah, so let's see here. I'm of the thought process that if AT&T does this wrong, they could churn just like Dennis said. And he mentioned the churn rate. Now, Dennis, they've had industry low churn a couple of quarters in a row.
And I will bet you good money
They spike a little bit.
that those churn rates spike. And it's not just for AT&T. I think the churn rates will spike for Verizon as well. And honestly, I'd even go so far to say is I think the churns will spike for T-Mobile even. And here's my rationale behind it, Sneed. For all the people screaming inflation typically leads to recession, and recessions are typically times when the prepaid market tends to do better.
Yeah, that's true.
What I find hard to believe is if you guys have seen Tech Life Channel's Tyrone's videos, he's been talking about, he's been hinting that Verizon is going to have a really, really bad quarter. I mean, and the fact that they did a $15 off discount for online, that's not a good sign.
Well, I mean, I've kind of been indicating this for a while myself. I'm watching how they're moving. I don't need internal information. I can see things happening from the outside and kind of draw my conclusions. So, Exhibit A, they start toying with these little loyalty discounts. Exhibit B, they start calling people that are using the Verizon app looking at devices trying to secure a sale. That means they're watching the app and they're watching what you're looking at. And they're trying to close the deal and they know that something's in your freaking cart. All right, so they're doing that. They're also actively hunting people for upgrades. So if you call for like a customer care issue, they're also trying to upgrade your phones. And they're also trying to change your legacy plans. They never used to do that before. There's so many different red flags right now that indicate to me that this is probably going to be the worst Q2 at Verizon in a long time.
Sneed, you forgot about Exhibit D. They're actually paying attention to their Fios customers and trying to upsell them so hard on the wireless. Literally, I get flyers every week, dude, that just go right in the garbage bin.
and I'm just talking about the stuff that I'm seeing that I never saw before. Like I mean, I can't comment to everyone's experience, but these are things that I've seen this quarter that I never saw ever in my personal experience. They never called me. They never sent me this. They never sent me that. Now it's happening like full force. And I mean, look, cost cutting in business, that's not unique to Verizon, but they're moving a little bit different. The problem is they're still not addressing the issue.
And
They're
the
not
issue is
growing.
what?
They're not growing because they're not competing properly. Like they're literally going to die on that mountain. We're going to sell things primarily through premium channels, like upgrading you on your plan, selling you a premium plan, getting you on the highest and giving you all these perks and all this. You have to service all customers. You can't just service one. When you shut out an entire business or market segment, that means your competition's taking all of it. Like, what are you going to do when T-Mobile actually builds rural towers? What is going to distinguish Verizon at that point?
Right.
If literally T-Mobile puts up antennas and radios on every Verizon site, now what? Now what are you going to say, Verizon?
Well, Sneed, there's one thing you're ignoring here, and that's the fact that rural customers are very loyal. Brand loyalty and brand perception is just as important as the actual network, and Verizon has that in spades still to this day.
Well, Dennis, one thing to consider with rural customers is I grew up in areas with one option. You're loyal because you don't realize that there are other options, even 5 years after the option becomes available, because you're like, oh, it's always been. I've only had AT&T, so I'm always going to be on AT&T. It's not until they sit down and realize, hey, someone else has deployed here, do they even consider switching?
Yeah, but Pete, my dad has had literally AT&T since AT&T Wireless was a thing. All right. And there's always been other options out where he grew up at. Like Verizon definitely existed out there, and so did Sprint, and later on, T-Mobile. And I mean this sincerely. You couldn't pay him to switch. You literally could not pay him to switch. You could offer him like a $15,000 check, and he will ride and die with AT&T.
And how old is your dad?
Is that including his AARP discount?
He doesn't get an AARP discount. He gets a discount that he has grandfathered in from his previous employer. But and as for the age, he's over 60. I'm not going to get super specific, but he's over 60.
So he could be applying that AARP discount.
He does not get an AARP discount, but he still gets the signature discount nonetheless.
But he's right in AT&T's demographic. I mean, like smack dab in AT&T's demographic.
I mean, I'm just saying, you can talk about demographics all you want, but...
Dennis, what we're getting at is he probably remembers the time when you were renting your rotary from Mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, I'm sure Sneed also remembers something like that.
Sure, but the important thing to point out here, though, is that for most families, your decision maker is going to be over 50 at this point. They're going to be over 50. They're the ones that make the decision on where all 5 of those lines of the family account go to. And if they're loyal like my dad is, they're going to stay with AT&T regardless if T-Mobile builds out there or not.
Yeah, but even those people, those really loyal people, AT&T, anybody, messes up one bill, those customers can churn on a moment's notice.
And as the kids grow up and get of age, I mean, this is exactly my situation. We had AT&T, and the minute I grew up and started paying my own phone bill, I told AT&T to take their service and shove it.
So I deal with quite a few people who are over the age of 50, and they're like, you seem to be on the ball with cell phones. I'm kind of annoyed with AT&T here. Who do you recommend? So I bust out my T-Mobile line, I bust out my Lowe's Red line, show them the difference. Those people are switching to T-Mobile.
Yeah, but Pete, let me ask you an honest question here. If they weren't dealing with you, right, and they didn't have that minorly annoying situation because of whatever, right? Like, would they really?
They just think all cell phones suck until the day they died.
That's what I think. No.
I'm just saying, like as far as billing issues goes, most times billing issues only happen when you're trying to take advantage of a promo or something with AT&T or like a plan change. If you're someone that's literally rocking an old school mobile value share plan because you've been with them for so long and you're not touching it, there's probably not going to be an instigating incident that would cause it to happen. And then as far as Dave goes, Dave, I also have T-Mobile, right? But I don't actually know why you hate AT&T specifically. Is there an incident that made you hate them that you can share?
There was a couple of things, and I've actually shared this before, but I'll say it again. I used to live in a very rural area, and the coverage absolutely sucked. And we called AT&T, and we told them our coverage sucks. Well, our coverage map says that you have great coverage. I'm like, well, your coverage map doesn't tell you jack squat, because it was terrible. I had to set my phone in the window, and maybe if the planets were aligned right and it was a nice bright sunny day, I could hold a call for 5 minutes before it dropped because it lost signal.
Hey Dave, did they offer to send you a signal extender or anything?
Yeah, if I wanted to pay $200 for it after
the Femto cell or Metro cell or whatever.
I said, is there something you can do? And they said, yeah, if you give us $200, we can send you this thing. And I said, how about you take your $200 and you shove it? Because I don't want your service anymore.
Sneed.
Real quick, Pete, we got Vivian with the comment of the night. I think this one qualifies. I'm getting a new P.O. box in a Dish launch city so I can sign up for the service. It's so challenging to try to sign up.
That Vivian, I don't think that works, Vivian.
I don't think that's going to work because once
they want a physical house.
And even if they do even if you do manage to get through, I feel like even if they do if Vivian does get it, then what's going to happen is that when Dish sees that Vivian's not on the native network a majority of the time, they're going to kick them off.
Yep.
Yeah, that can happen now.
Hey, Sneed, remember when you complained to T-Mobile about your service and they offered to send you a free cell spot?
Yeah, I mean it sucked, but yeah, they did.
Hey, at least they didn't say it's going to be $200.
No, they didn't charge at all,
No,
and they
I
actually
know.
like overnight shipped it too.
Well, you're on a business account. They care about you.
Flex.
Yeah, AT&T literally told me that if I was willing to pay $200, they'd send me this thing out. And I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me.
Was this before or after Wi-Fi calling existed?
Before, this was probably 2013.
So then, for the time period, it was literally the only thing Wi-Fi calling didn't exist. So basically, anyway, your genesis is T-Mobile AT&T didn't have good coverage, so you left because of coverage, essentially.
Yep, and customer service, like because they treated me like dirt, trying to fix my issues and wanting to charge me $200 for a darn thing.
Okay, all right. So, all right, this is from Ram. He says, Dave, your argument holds water like a strainer. Well, what Dave is saying is what a lot of people have witnessed. Carrier X did not find a solution to the problem. Therefore, customer Dave left and will never go back because he felt that they're incompetent and they're not able
Customer
to take care of
Dave,
the
I like
customer.
that.
I mean, I'm just going to throw out a hot take, and I'm sorry, but when it comes to coverage, if there's a coverage issue with there not being a tower, right, close enough to your house, there's only one solution that the carrier can do. That's add another tower. But Sneed, you and I both know that takes a year, at least, right? So what is the customer service rep like? What do you expect the minimum wage paid customer service rep to do for you? Well, modern day is Wi-Fi calling. Most people still complain because they're like, I don't want to have to rely on Wi-Fi, but it's actually a really good solution. Or back in 2012, when Dave talked to AT&T, femtocell was your answer. The fact that existed at all was a miracle because I don't even
But
think.
they shouldn't have been charging him $200.
But why?
Dennis.
Every carrier at the time charged. Verizon charged, Sprint charged, and I believe T-Mobile didn't even have a femtocell until 2014. Was it? So,
Yeah, but I don't believe if a carrier is willing to sell you a phone and sell you service and they know your address, your home residence. If the first statement is coverage is going to be kind of spotty there, it might be a little bit rough when you're indoors. I think that kind of changes the storyline, you know what I mean? Like I've seen T-Mobile do this before where a customer comes in and a good rep, let's say like Tim for example. Tim was an incredible employee at T-Mobile.
Goat employee.
Yeah, he absolutely did this before anyone ever switched to T-Mobile. He said, "Give me your address. Let me check out our coverage there. Let's set a fair expectation of how it's going to perform there." Now, if they misguide you and they mislead you and they get you thinking that coverage is going to be strong there, well now it's shame on them. It's not shame on the customer.
So, Sneed, Tim also looked at what phone they were thinking about getting and tailored what they would be expecting on
like
the
that.
yeah.
Right.
He went out of his way to sell the service if it was a good location.
And by the way, Ram,
fake maps this whole time. No.
And by the way, Ram, you are 100% correct. I think every carrier has probably done this to at least 10 million customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sneed, can I just say something though?
Yeah.
We've literally seen at my own house as the example that coverage can vary drastically over the course of a year, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, anytime there's sites being upgraded and sectors
not
start
even
to get
sites
modified.
being upgraded, just the changing of the seasons. Literally,
what?
You heard me? Just the changing. Literally during the winter time, I get better service at my house with all carriers than I do during like the middle of summer.
No, this wasn't a seasonal thing. This wasn't all the time.
I understand in your case, but I'm saying that wireless service can vary based off of a variety of factors. Obviously, you keep saying what, but like, are you not following at all? Like
trees, ghosts.
Rain. I live in a place where Verizon has a cell tower every mile. Trees don't matter here.
Trees matter here.
Yeah,
millimeter wave on the lake.
Once you start to push the towers like the edge hill, then trees actually do matter quite a bit because they can knock your RSRP down by 5 or 10 dBm.
Yeah,
Hey,
but if you're on
that's
an RSOP of like 110, 115, an extra 10 dBm knockdown is like no service.
Exactly. Like if you're on like minus 110, then and you get knocked down by like 10 dBm, minus 10 dBm because of the trees, the leaves on the trees between you and the tower. Yeah, you're looking at minus 120, and that's really iffy.
Anyway, the point I'm going for here, and then also on the topic of the phones, like, dude, you're talking to someone that just got out of high school, is working a customer service job just to pay for their college, like getting paid minimum wage, and you're expecting them to have an understanding of every single phone and their antennae properties. Like, I mean, shucks, we've seen before that even with all phones having an X65, depending on the antenna placement and depending on the firmware, they all perform differently. Just look at an S22 Ultra and compare that to like I don't know, insert other phone that has the 865 in it. Or better yet, let's take Apple when they had when they had the Intel variant and the Qualcomm variant. Those few years they were doing that. You expect the minimum wage customer service rep to be able to discern whether or not they have an Intel make model or a Qualcomm make model just by talking to the customer, and you expect the customer to be able to explain that?
All right, so this is pretty crazy, and all the real ones know what's going on here. David mentioning this. Back at you guys remember Periscope? I used to do those live streams on there, and I think one time when I was live streaming in Lakewood, I found a node that was literally pointing out to the lake, a millimeter wave node, and
Yep.
it was so weird. Literally a millimeter wave node directly out, heading like north towards Canada, and it was just like randomly on this pole. I have to go back there. I'm gonna get a canoe or a kayak, and I'm gonna go ahead and see how far I can test it out there.
Hey, Sneed, I'd kayak with you in Lake Erie.
Let's do it, bro.
I gotta find some time.
Hey, you should do that as a patron
Patreon
exclusive
exclusive.
test, because that would be fantastic to see just how well millimeter wave would do on a lake.
Sneed can do the phone stuff. I'll just move us around. You'd be like, go a little this way. I'll do that. And then when we get to, there are any islands we could stop at for lunch, so I could bust out a grill.
That's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't know, but if there are, then they'd be pretty lonely islands.
Hey, Sneed, just to put
That's why I'd bust out the grill, burn some food, make some lunch, head back.
Sneed, just to put my little final point to rest as well. Let's take Verizon, which is the most recent example. I went 3 days with no service with them, right? Now I connect to a tower that's not my closest tower and I have service. But, you know, I know it's for upgrades. I know it's for upgrades now.
Right.
But they didn't communicate that with me, and there's not really a way for the consumer to be informed about that.
Man, the carriers are hilarious. They have so many tools that they could utilize. Like, all they have to do is make an app that has two-way communication, customer input, and then technician input, right? This tower is getting worked on, estimated time of repair, maintenance, upgrade, just put a day or a time of day, right? Or if a customer can report an outage and the technicians don't need 500 reports to fix something, because that's usually what it comes down to. Have 500 people reported an issue on the same site. You know, like maybe being a little bit more responsive. I mean, I don't understand how carriers haven't done this yet.
Well, they did do it, and then they took it away. AT&T had marked the spot, as someone pointed out in the comments, and they got rid of it.
People liked it. Yeah, people did like that.
Also, one thing that irks me, and this is about Verizon, and this is actually one of the bigger reasons that I chose T-Mobile, is because Verizon's map is all the one color. Like if you click it, it's red or whatever, right? But it doesn't give you the estimated signal strength. And granted, the main T-Mobile map doesn't either.
You have to go to the advanced one.
If you look at the T-Mobile MVNO map, it gives you the estimated strength of every single band. It tells you band 2 covers outdoor, car, building, large building. It tells you 700 megahertz covers this. It tells you, like, it gives you estimated signal strengths in that area for each band, and it's beautiful. Like, why aren't other carriers doing that?
Well, Dave, I can do you one better. How about when T-Mobile actually pulled, I believe it was Ookla's data that showed where live phones actually connected to the signal as a verified checkmark for coverage? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
But why don't they do it? Because money, time, and also, let's be real here. What does insert carrier get out of actually trying to make their coverage map even more accurate?
What they get out of it is they get more satisfied customers and customers that know what to expect. Because like if I'm going to recommend T-Mobile to somebody, or if I'm going to suggest T-Mobile to somebody, I will first of all, I'll be like, "What's your address?" And I'll pull up that map and I'll be like, "No, T-Mobile's not going to work for you there. No, that's a bad idea. Don't even think about it."
Yeah, but you're missing the part. Where is the dollar form? What's the dollar's net profit that they get from doing that? And the answer is
None.
Unfortunately none.
You get customer retention. That's what you get.
And less customer service calls.
Oh yeah.
So side note, by the way, what MVNO carrier were you looking at? I looked at Mint, and Mint wasn't doing that anymore when I looked at it. So who were you looking at?
Dennis,
the Mint coverage map should do it. So go to mintmobile.com/coverage and then just put in an address.
That's the one I'm on.
Did they change it?
Yes.
If they changed it, I'm going to be pissed because that was
change it. They did.
That was like, let me go check right now.
Hey Sneed, did we get to the super chat from Franco Barrera?
Set me up, Pete. Go ahead. Take care of that.
He chimes in with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity, Franco. He says, Wi-Fi calling sucks on AT&T. I have an S22 provided by them. He got them in the store. It's a good plan with AT&T. And always have issues with the Wi-Fi calling and have to use cellular because it cuts out all the time. And it sounds horrible. And he has the AT&T Home Internet. My T-Mobile Wi-Fi calling cuts out all the time and sounds garble. Kill it? Sound fine. So,
hey, a really dumb question, but PA Tech, how did you get this customized version of the map? This is like an old school version of T-Mobile's map. Maps.tmobile.
This only shows up to 4G.
Yeah, that's why it says the old version.
Yeah, I mean, so one map will show your native pretty much, and then we have a map for roaming purposes. So
I love it that based off
a roaming map, yeah. By the way.
I just love the fact that based off the old one that shows LT, apparently my house is good for like all enterprise buildings for every single band. But when I actually look at RSRP values for T-Mobile signal, it's more like definitely like more cell edge. So interesting indeed. But I don't know. I feel like there were some very spicy takes. Do you have any final thoughts throughout the show, anyone?
Spicy takes, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis. Do you remember why I hate AT&T?
It's because they screwed you over on your billing, right?
What part of my billing did they screw me over on?
I know what he's talking about.
Zero Cool knows my issue too.
I'm sorry, man. I'd slip in my mind.
Can I, Pete?
Or only Zero Cool doesn't want to try it.
I kind of remember it.
Starts with an N.
Man, you guys are too young to remember this, huh?
Yeah.
Free night and weekend minutes?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, it was his nights and weekends. And yeah, I see that the Mint Mobile map doesn't have it anymore. I'll have to look and see if any other maps do, because that's sad, because that's what I used to use.
PA speed testing linked one.
You tell me nights and weekends start at 8.
I thought it was 7, Pete.
Yeah, you tell me they start at 7. They kick in at 11.
Because
on a Saturday.
I know that the main T-Mobile site supposedly has one that's like no roam 5 or no roam LTE, like no roam L or whatever, like different weird links. But the Mint Mobile one was always the easiest one, because instead of having to go to tmobile.com/blah blah blah/no roam 5 or whatever, it was just mintmobile.com/coverage, and you could get the same map. So that's sad that they took that away.
Hey, can we all agree on something as a consensus? Can we just all agree that all cellular networks kind of suck and need to work greatly and deeply on actually improving their coverage, whether it be adding capacity and densifying, or in the case of others, just expanding their coverage period? Can we just all agree?
Yeah,
AT&T is taking an L with their 3 dead zones in my city.
Pete, I really wish so badly that AT&T for you could be like they are over here for me, because I swear to all things holy, bro, it would be so good from a competitive standpoint for your market.
I mean, West Mobile's okay when I'm having T-Mobile issues, but that's because their LTE network is a little higher, broadcasting at higher power. So,
well, I've been literally going nonstop ever since I got off work. I'm feeling pretty pooped. Sneed, I know this is around the time when you round things out.
let's do it, man. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Zero to the Cool. Thank you, Bearded Dragon, Pete, as well as Dave B. Appreciate you guys for coming on and hanging out. Let's do some hashtags. Everybody pick one. I'm going to hashtag SMT. Dennis, give us a hashtag.
Hashtag best phone plans.
Go ahead. Zero to the Cool, hashtag something.
Hashtag no price increases.
Good one, man. All right, Dave, hashtag something.
Hashtag save the bear.
All right, good one, man. There you go. Pete,
hashtag feed the bear.
feed the bear.
Hashtag telco poppy.
Yo, Carlos, you popping in at the end. Give us a hashtag, bro. A hashtag no
What
buffer.
up? Oh yeah, I'm in the casino right now.
Who are you using?
Looks like Dish.
Looks like
No, I'm using Verizon right now.
They got a whole bunch
now,
of
bro. Bro, right now I'm trying to make some moves here. I just talked to my host and he gave me a $10,000 casino marker. Trying to turn that 10,000 to 20 right now.
All
right,
bro,
let
you're playing with Lady Death right now. Please don't go, bro.
Good luck,
Well,
man.
I get free money from the Caesars, bro. I've gambled so much money here, bro. I get free money from the casino. That's why I got a host.
All right, I can barely hear him. Let's go ahead and round out the show. We love you guys. Please do like, share, and subscribe for more. And we out this piece.
Peace.
Peace.